people. I said, what? Okay, here are my socials. You can have them. Okay, here's my email password. Here's my Instagram. Here's my Facebook. Okay, he literally had access to everything so that he can see I ain't doing anything fishy.
In you doing that, were you doing it as part of being a loyal girlfriend? Because I actually think there's a big difference between being stupid and being loyal. So I don't know. What's the difference? What's the difference?
Okay, I was stupid. From my side, I will say I was stupid. Because how on heaven's name will you just give someone your passwords? Kumbuka, this is also M-Pesa we're talking about. This is M-Pesa we're talking about.
Maybe you're naive?
That is being
or
stupid.
You just love
that is being stupid.
You are watching TheArtsinHeart, your home of authentic conversations.
Flight will be 8 hours.
Karibuni, welcome to elimishwe kwa maswala ya jamii. Tutumbuize sana mbalimbali, tujuze juu ya matukio ya kila pembe, tawapa burudani kwa familia nzima.
Senator Cleophas Mbalala, a man that has perfected the art of telling stories.
I cannot get into a cell that is not sanitized. I have said this time and again, that my life is in danger. I have written enough letters. I have called officers in this republic. They have not taken any action, even to give me extra security.
Indeed, he knows his rights. This week, he, however, had a different story to tell.
Sababu, kazi ya askari si ni kushika bunduki tu peke yake. Yo inahitaji masomo yoyote kweli? Mheshimiwa Msalia, kama mtu alienda form 4 na alipata C+, tupeleke yeye aende university asome. Kazi ya askari ni hao majamaa ambao wako hapa, hao ambao waliacha shule na hawakufanikiwa kumaliza shule.
And Atuoli would not have any of these. He literally called him mshenzi.
Yeye ni mshenzi sana. Na mimi nataka kusema hivi. Mimi kama kiongozi wa wafanyikazi, najua huyo jamaa na makosa mengi sana. Yeye ni seneta wangu huko Kakamega. Na waruhusu polisi kuanzia sasa wamtafute, kesho wamuonyeshe ya kwamba wamesoma, watoe ile makosa yake yo.
Politica is a set of activities that are associated with making decisions in groups or other forms of power relations among individuals, such as distribution of resources or status.
Na waomba msamaha na kila mtu ambaye amenikosea pia na msamehe kila mtu with a clean heart.
Mine is to wish that we will end up much more united and stronger after this election than ever before.
I feel we're too scattered, we're too disunited. I feel we don't know what we want as Kenyan people. I feel our leaders have multiple agendas. I don't think we have a singular agenda.
There are no two political or three political parties. The chama ni moja.
Ni hiyo tu yenye walituambia.
Wanasiasa.
Oh, chama ni wanasiasa. The rest is just
it's showbiz.
Theaters and showbiz. Like nyinyi maceleb.
Yeah, showbiz.
Are we children of a lesser God? Or who is fooling who?
Satani!
And good evening, my name is Likuyani Eli. What a pleasure. Yes, are we children of a lesser God? That is our topic for discussion tonight. If this is your first time, do join us in the comment section with the hashtag #ArtsinHeart. If you like it, you can add the perspective. The man who has been missing for quite too long, I was about to get scared because I don't know if I should refer to him as the lost or the prodigal son. Austin, we guy, you guy, my guy. Good evening, sir. Mambo vipi?
Mambo iko freshi barida, mambo iko shega, yani mambo bila bukta.
Freshi barida.
fresh barida sinajua mimi nikisema wati mimi nikikaa na Steve naweza cheka sana.
Yeah. How are you, sir? How are you doing?
Right.
Welcome to the show. Welcome back home.
Maze, thanks. Nilikuwa nimepotea kidogo, but now I'm back with a bang.
Thank you
ni
so
bang
much.
Bang ile ingine.
Okay, sio bang yangi, yani bangi. Okay, sorry. Because how a better way to start the evening without the one and only Sony Gisheru. Sony, mama kupiga passport kwa uso. Ni sawa. Mama tukuone hivi. Utaki kutuonyesha mabarikio za Mungu?
Wewe. Achilia hiyo maneno wewe. Hiyo. How are you guys?
You doing fine? How about you? Man.
I'm good. Kumana tuna live.
Yeah.
Hakuna mtutupa.
Maze, unajua lazima tutafute rent. Na mama mmoja pale Kilimani alikuwa ameniambia niende nione, you know. Sitazungumza sana cause sitaki kuchoma.
Usichome kwa sababu wewe ni wa mchomez. For now, let's bring in one and only Godwin. Na Godwin ameamua kukuja in all his majesty. Good evening, sir. How are you tonight?
Ndio manake.
Niko sawa sana.
Niaje Austin? Niaje Godwin? Okay. Leo.
Uko fiti sana.
Are you a child of a lesser God?
Not really. I serve a true living God, God who believes in equality and justice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't think I serve a lesser, or I'm a child of a lesser God.
Okay. Sawa. Guys, tonight we're discussing children of a lesser God and why. If you saw the intro clip that we had there of one Senator Cleophas Malala, you know, Senator Malala is actually a good friend of mine, disclaimer. I tried calling him earlier on so that he can give us his current status of this issue. And he didn't pick up, you know, on his time ya campaign. So just in case, mwambie nilimtafuta hakukuja kujitetea. But I'm told he apologized. But before we can go to the apology aspect, he outrightly called these police officers not so learned, and the only thing they can do is carry a gun around, which does not require a lot of education. Austin, let's start with you. What do you make of those statements?
That statement is not correct. It's not right, and it should not be like that. Cause akishasema hivyo, then tuna portray. Hadi imagine mtoi mwenye alikuwa anataka kuwa policeman mwenye wanasemanga, when I grow up I want to be a policeman, and then anasikia policemen ni watu wenye hawajasoma, kazi yao ni kubeba bunduki. Already tushaanza kuwa hiyo dream ya huyo mtoto. And this is a job like any other. This is a job that actually should be respected, because our say they are risking their lives. Our say they are going out of their way to make sure that you are safe, to make sure that we are safe. But sasa mtu akikuja sasa kumwambia sasa hiyo kazi yako hata hitaji masomo, actually hiyo ni mbaya. Hiyo ame reduce self esteem zao, amefanya yani hata maybe wame lose hata respect kwao nyumbani, juu mtoto akishasikia dadi hajasoma, kazi ni kubeba tu bunduki, then ni kumaanisha hata ata lose power home, ata lose respect. Yani amewaharibia kabisa. It should be more than an apology. Anafaa akuje, it should be heartfelt. Inafaa itoke kwa moyo, asiseme tu ati poleni nilimekio statement, cause haifai kuwa hivyo.
Well, Austin, before we can crucify this honorable senator, you must remember that actually Senator Malala said he was misquoted. Godwin, is this the common escape we use as leaders, especially leaders, use to get away with stuff? Literally how to get away with murder. Godwin.
I'd say, first of all, I'd say it's unfortunate that such sentiments or comments are coming from our leaders, you know, because I tend to hesitate to call them our leaders, because the kind of statements and statements that come out of them, they don't depict someone who's supposed to be leading others, you know. So I really find that to be unfortunate. And then the fact that the venue and the place where he was making those comments, there was a policeman, someone who's providing security to make sure that everything is in order, you know, there are no chaos and stuff. And then you reduce them to be someone mwenye ajasoma, you know, mtu mwenye aliachia shule class 1 and stuff. So how do you trust such a person with your life in the first place? And I really,
yeah, go ahead.
I really don't like this issue where, you know, I believe before you talk, you should think before you talk, so that you don't just say anything and then you come to apologize later, because there's some damage that once done, it can't be reversed. Whether you issue I don't know how many apologies, the damage is done, because whatever perception that has been planted into people's mind about the police officers, you know, it's there. It cannot be reversed just because you issued an apology. So I feel our leaders should really first think before they make some utterances, and more so during this campaign period, because people are doing that to gain some mileage. Not really, you might find some of them don't mean it, but they're just saying to appeal to a certain crowd. But what effect does it have to those individuals that are being mentioned?
You know, history is funny, and if you guys, again, I want to refer to the clip that we ran before we started the show. If you watch it closely, you remember, I think it's 2020, where Senator Malala was arrested and accosted all the way to, was it in Kakamega, if I'm getting wrong? I hope that is the place. From all the way from Kitengela. And he went in parliament crying about his security and insecurity, and demanded, and actually went ahead to illustrate how he had asked and demanded for security to be provided by the same policemen. Do we forget too fast? Are we short-minded? Are we short-sighted? What are we? Sonny Gisheru, if you can hear me.
Hello?
Hi.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Hi.
Tuambie, what do you make of us as Kenyans or as leaders? Are we so short-sighted or short-minded?
We are short-sighted or short-minded, as you call it. Because how do we forget such a thing? Like this guy Kwanza Malala, he's vying for, anataka kupewa kiti ya governor. Ameshaongea venye ameongea, and then ata apologize, and then you know this is something that iko tu ndani yake, anatafuta tu kitu ya kuongelesha Kenyans about, badala yani amekosa kitu ya maana kusema, akaamua kuongelea polisi. Like that is very wrong. So guys are going to be apologiziwa, and then they will forget. The next time he does something like that, who are Kenyans? And then kidogo kidogo ashaingia kwa kiti ya governor, tutablame nani? Sisi wenyewe tu.
But me na believe, Eli.
Yes, go ahead.
I think Malala has a beef with the police, because I think ni mara mingi sana mi nimesikia tu Malala sijui amekuwa kwa gari anasafirishwa from Kakamega to Nairobi, hajapewa maji sijui nini, ati mara ameendewa kwake saa 9 ya usiku anaambiwa ni DCI. I think ni kitu ameishingi nayo, yani anaona nyinyi mmenitesa sana, hata ni kama ilikuwa revenge.
So in other words, he was finding the perfect platform to get back. You know what makes it a bit sickening? And let's not forget the fact that actually he went on his social media page and apologized. But the IG is not having any of that. He's saying, hii mazee haijatosha. So are other Kenyans. But he went ahead and mnasema ni kana kwamba akona beef, and found the perfect opportunity to let it out. What is sickening is there was a police officer on duty as he was saying these words.
First of all, that policeman, he's very humble. Mimi kama ni mimi ningekuwa, and then you talk like that. Mimi nitarusha mkono na nitaenda. Si wanifute tu kazi. Like, how can I be putting my life on the line to protect you, and then you come talk shit about me, talk bad about me? That is very wrong. So that policeman kwanza congrats to him for managing that situation vizuri kabisa, because if it was somebody else should have, kwanza mapolisi wote wenye wanafaa ku withdraw, but at least he apologized. So what do we say?
I want to take you guys to, I think, a week or so. If unfortunately we don't have time to get that clip here with us, but you saw there was this, the security detail of the deputy president. One of the security detail, fell off from the moving car. And the guys continued driving on, and life continued like nothing happened. So, is it that these politicians use us as a means to their goal, or is it because it's always convenient for them, especially for the police officers? Nimeona Osi umecheka, ni kama story imekubamba.
Imenibamba juu ya I saw the video. And then I saw venye polisi walijitetea, walisema ati it was some sort of training, sijui nini, ati alikuwa na try some so yani inanibamba juu clearly tuliona huyo msee alitrip akaanguka chini, and au polisi hata actually ni polisi tu mmoja mwenye alikuwa kwa pikipiki ndiye alikuwa willing kutaka kumsaidia, and then akasimamishiwa gari au wengine, but mimi naweza taka kujua after hapo walienda kuongea nini. Maybe niko sure maybe hata kuna disciplinary action, maybe ilichukuliwa akaambiwa
was sleeping on the job or literally rolling on the job. Godwin, let me ask you something. With all this hulabaloo, does it then tell us that there's too much segregation even among us ourselves, depending on the kind of job you do and your qualification academically? What does that mean for us?
Ellen, yes, at this time we are condemning the statement that Malala made, but now reflect and look back at us. I'll give you a scenario where in a normal office setup, so you'll find people despise others depending on what position they hold. So you'll find the CEO is looking at the other junior staff even, and then now the next in line looks down upon the other, and then up to the support staff, that clean and stuff. So just because you are seated on a chair with a laptop, now the other person who is walking around with the mop is lesser than you. So it's something that trickles down from our leaders to us. We are condemning Senator Malala right now just because we feel he said something that affected us. But now look at you normally. And it happens in our day-to-day life. Someone asks you, let's say this is a friend or someone you've taken time before meeting. They're like, hey, niaje, but that question alone, it means someone is looking for what amount of respect they're going to accord you. So, hey, mazemi mi sikuzi na hustle tu, wewe kuisha. Lakini, sikuzi niko na gari fulani, hey, wewe ushakuwa umeheshimiwa. So it just depends the lens from which we view things. So we look at the material things that people have, maybe how much they're educated, to know what the amount of respect we're going to accord them. So it's not something that is happening only in the political class. We only condemn that because it's something that has been captured in the media, and everyone is trying. In Kenya, everyone is getting angry about everything. So we just find any reason to get angry. Malala alisema, but now we don't look at ourselves now down here. What are we doing to our neighbors? There's someone who will come to a house not because they want to visit you. They want to see how are you doing? What do you have? What don't you have? So it's something that is happening in our day-to-day life.
Okay, Sonny.
Yeah?
How often do you check on your friends to find out how they are doing really, instead of trying to find out how bad they are doing economically?
Economically, generally.
No, economically, because apparently Godi says most of us will ask you, hey Buddha, what do you do? Just to find out how much respect they're about to accord you.
Well, first of all, that's not good. It's a shortcoming for most Kenyans, because wanatakanga kupima sana your lifestyle, like hata kukuja tu kwako kuangalia vitu ziko kwa nyumba na gauge Kwanza kama, let me talk about something like Austin might relate, like as influencers or as content creators. So watu wamezoea kuona ukishoot content kwa this particular background, and then wanaona kakiti kameongezeka, kameza kameongezeka, and then wako hapo tu wana gauge tu kwa comments. You know, Kenyans are actually like that, which is not a good thing. Ama aje Austin, si ndio? Like hadi unaogopa kushow your real lifestyle, unaogopa huku nje watu wanaweza kuroga wewe ukionyesha any form of progress wewe. But gone are the days where we judge people according to the grades they get, because the society we live in right now, it's not like utapata graduate, ulipata A, ukakuja campus, ukasoma medicine ama whatever, and then you don't get a job afterwards, unaenda tu kuhustle na watu wa D+, hao wenye mnasema hawana akili. You even find those same people are street smart. They're the ones who are employing these graduates. So gone are the days where we think that grades ndo kila kitu. Some people are actually street smart out here. Yeah, so that's a form of backward thinking on my side. We should just respect each other. Yeah,
that is backward thinking. I'm going to Sony. I don't know what Gorin makes of it before I come to you, Austin. Imasomo inasaidia kweli ama ni story tu kwa vitabu za zilikuwa zinaitwa ni 844 kabla tukuje kwa CBC?
Yeah. But I like to say, you know, me usually say in this life, there's no manual to success, and success is relative, because what success means to me is not what it means to you. There are people who, for them, success is just being happy, you know, being healthy and all that. And there are people who measure success with the amount of money or wealth they have. There are people who find success, who see success as how much they've impacted other people, you know. So it depends. So, and the only problem is we usually judge people by how much do you earn, how far have you gone in terms of education. And that's why there are people who pressure you. You know, you have to go to school, and then you get there, you don't get a job. They're the same people who are laughing at you. So why did you go to school? You know, because for them, they believe for you to be successful, you must have studied up to a certain level, and then you must be having a certain life. You must be married, maybe with a number of kids. Because the people who are going to tell you, you know, you are getting late, you have to get married. You get married now, they give you another hurdle. You need to get kids. You get kids now, you don't have a boy in among your kids. Now you get that, you know. So at this time, you find you're living because you're trying to impress people. You forget about yourself, because if you sit down and analyze, did I really want this life? No. Because maybe for you, success was just being happy regardless whether you're married or not. It was about you. But because there's that pressure from the society, they've told you, you have to, after being born, you have to go to school, you have to get a job, get married, and then die. So if you miss maybe a step, you feel like the society judges you as if you're not successful or you've not made it. You know, because you can be successful by helping other people, and that gives you happiness, and that's what you want. So you find yourself doing other things, not because you want, because the society demands.
Well, that's what the society demands from you, and that's why some people will actually have the audacity to tell others that haven't scored anything more than a D+ should be holding guns. But I'm just wondering, with the current issues happening around the globe, if you look at the issue that happened in Texas, I believe you guys are privy to it, where there was a shooting and 10-year-olds were actually murdered in a mass shooting by those that I will call them a crazy head. Does it then ask us to question who is handling guns, especially in our police force, Austin? Kwa sababu kama senator anasema watu wajinga ndio natakana, because that's the word actually, watu wajinga ndio natakana wa handle guns, and we see what is happening in the US. I find it difficult to understand.
Hapo by the way, we should be very careful to who we are giving these weapons to, because hii pisto yenye tunadharau hivi, hiyo pisto it can take the life of someone, inaweza take hadi life ya huyo mse mwenye anapeana. So we should be very cautious, and we should not just give these weapons to just anyone. I believe they should even sit down, they be checked if they can handle the pressure psychologically, physically, you know, every aspect should be considered, because gun unapatanga hadi. I remember there was a time in a club Quiver, ati mse alikasirika, mse akatoa gun akashoot mse na ikakuwa ni hivyo, and we have seen many of those cases. Many even go to drink with these guns. We should even have a regulation. Mse afai kwenda na gun place fulani, mse afai kulewa na hiyo gun, mse afai but sasa utapata na vitu zina happen Kenya, mse anahongana pale kwa club, bouncer anajua huu ni nani, so haezi akimpata hata na gun haezi mwambia yeye ni aje mheshimiwa, hapa huwezi ingia na hii bunduki. Anamsearch tu, anasikia hiyo ni hata in fact hata msearch because anaogopa, na anapewa pale dhao, anapewa pale shilingi yake fulani. So tuna compromise a lot, na hatujui we are putting many lives at risk, because saa hii inaweza kuwa si wewe, but kesho inaweza kuwa closer to you, ama inaweza kuwa kwako. Yeah.
Okay,
Austin,
we stay with the story. Okay, you want to go on, Gorin?
Yeah, there's a point Austin raised, and I find it's very important to address it. You know, in terms of who is handling those weapons, and because you find, let's say, issue Austin Ameleta, maybe people going to clubs with ammunition and stuff. We have guards there. What kind of training do they have? Because yes, some people scan. Yes, if someone is found with a weapon, or maybe something that maybe can explode or something, how do they handle? Because it's one thing to, yes, maybe it's certain sound, this person is armed or is having a dangerous weapon, but now what next? You know, how do they handle it? Mm-hmm. So are we just training people to discover what people have, or we are training them to handle the situation in case that happens? Because we've seen scenarios, and it's in the public domain, where a leader shot someone or on live camera. It was captured on CCTV. Yeah. And I understand that premise does not allow people to enter with guns and stuff. But how did this person get in? You know, because there was someone at the gate or at the entrance. How did this happen? Is it because some of us are above the law, or is it because someone was sleeping on their job? You know, those are some of the very critical, serious questions we have to be interrogating.
Godwin, hata I think ni ile uoga yenye tumeuziwa, like kama I'm sure if it was you Godwin, sahi uone Uhuru anakuja hapa sahi na we ni guard, na we ni tuseme bouncer kwa club, uone Uhuru anakaa hivi, utamsearch? Utakaa hivi useme wa huyu ni president maze, hata mimi na msearch kama nani? Yeye hata ndio anafaa ni search ajue kama niko safe kukaa na hapo mahali, unaona?
So ideally, Austin, the question here you are trying to raise is, rather the conversation you're trying to bring out is, we rarely get to do our due diligence because we let these people overstep with their power that they possess, such that they will step off all of us just because ni senator, ama ni a member of parliament, ama ni MCA. Yeah? Kama wewe umekuwa MCA unatusumbua sana. But let's take some comments, then we continue with the conversation of children of a lesser God. We have African elites know the populace are massively gullible, and the leaders kept them ignorant so that they can be electable. Unaona? Unacheza na akili ya watu. That's how they do it. Princess Ola says, pata tabu utajua marafiki zako. Siku hizi ni kupambana na hali yako. Definitely Musio King. Pinche says, yo. Robert Mbogo anasema, Kenyans will swallow anything shoved down their throats as long as the perpetrator comes from their preferred political stand. Mtu wetu kind of narrative. For a boy, karibu sana, Noreen tuned in. And talking about children of a lesser God, all of a sudden, this thing has been existing since 1956, if I got that right. And it's an African issue and West African issue. I can't understand this, dear white people. Let's listen in. The children of a lesser God, there you have it. I don't know if this is an African problem or it's actually a Europe problem or American problem. You heard it. I don't think I want to repeat on those remarks, but let's just have the conversation around it. We have Sonny Gishero with me, Gordon, and of course, Austin. We guy, you guy. Mumesikia hiyo story ya monkeypox?
Yeah.
Austin.
Mi hata nimeona like hiyo story ya monkeypox wanasema the Congo strain, the West African strain, but sijaona any African country hapo hivyo. Wanasema tu hapo Europe, America, Australia, alafu pia picha yenye wameka hapo ni mikono za black. Why are they, mbona wanataka kufanya ni ugonjwa yetu? Sijui kwa nini.
Good question, Godwin.
These are some of the things that you nikasirisha personally. Because there's no way we'll have an outbreak in Europe and then you say the disease is in Africa, yet we've not seen any case in Africa. So how is it an African problem? The other time, and you see, as much as people want to make us look like children of a lesser God, but the true God that we serve always protects us. You remember the issue of COVID, when COVID came, people knew once it gets to Africa, Africa will be wiped up in a week. But here we are. How many cases do we have? And that's what people have to appreciate, that at times the people you feel the children of a lesser God, now the true God protects them. Because the way Austin has said, you see, like look at the symptoms in Europe. It's affecting the outer skin of the body. But now when they are showing African hands, it's something that has affected even the palms. And you wonder, are they the same thing or different? So you see the kind of narrative we are trying to propagate here, and it's very dangerous.
I think Western media is really playing some strange narratives here. But I have all reasons to be pissed off, but that's not my job tonight. Sonny, what do you make of that story, of the monkeypox?
Kenye tu mmesema, cause honestly it's so sickening. Yani Africa is just considered a lesser continent with lesser people, kutoka tu slaveries or days to now, like everything lazima tu tukue tu somewhere associated with something wrong. But as Godwin has said, kama tukionekana lesser people, our God is very mighty, because COVID haikutusumbua honestly. And the same way monkeypox, na tuko tu hata kama tulikataa kupewa vaccine, and we are still here, still kicking.
Wait, wewe ni ile team yenye nafuta bangi, haujadungwa COVID vaccination na bado uko na serikali kuambi kitu.
Naona huduma namba.
Wataniambia nini?
Guys, if you're watching, let us know what you think about this. Children of a lesser God. Is it a narrative by the Western media? Or of course, the so-called, the big one, sio big five, nimewapea jina kubwa sana. Siku hizi ni big seven, the G7.
G7.
Is there a narrative beyond what you're saying? What do you think about this? Let us know in the comment section. I see Noreen there says, this is some kind of irony. Hii monkeypox imefika Africa saa ngapi? Just because these people look at Africans as monkeys, huu ugonjwa umetoka huku. How come? We cannot say this disease has originated from here. I see Carol Kenya karibu sana says tuned in. Hello to you. I hope uko fiti sana. Dennis Thiongo say adi osto. Akiongea kizungu akiwa serious hivi, I see a joker. Wapi Obi? Tutaita Obi next week. Tutamutafuta. Sawa sawa. Thank you so much Dennis for tuning in. Now mwona hapa Princess Ola anasema another opportunity for people to get another vaccination. A big NKT coming with that. Yes, they say, but you know smallpox vaccination can work against such. But it is dangerous when it touches people who have underlying issues. Is this another story of COVID or vaccination narrative around the world? Let's start with you, Austin. Sonia amesema hajadungwa sindano, so sitamuongelesha. Acha nianze naye.
I'm confused. Kwani hao watu wanataka kududungisha sindano ngapi? And na kila siku yani kuna kitu mpya inakam sijui nini. I guess easy vitu, some of them they might even be generated from the labs. Okay. You know, kitu ya muhimu ni message. Some of these things maybe zina creatiwa huko na waache kutuwekelea si wa Afrika, na pia mazee waache tu tuishi mazee vizuri, waache kutushtua na news, waache kutuwekelea vitu sasa kama hizo. Sasa mikono ya black Europe inatoka wapi? Australia, US. Okay, sawa kuna wa blacks huko, lakini mbona wasitumie au watu wenye wamegonjeka, waache kuweka hadi wanaita Congo strain? Tangu lini? Where if ingekuwa
tuliambiwa na Ruto kazi ya Wakongolese ni kufanya nini? For that we cannot apologize. Anyway, says Boniface, hizo biolabs Uncle Sam anajenga hapa kule ndio za kulaumu. Zile biolabs anajenga hapa kule ndio za kulaumu. You know, they just come up one day and they decide they are coming up with this issue, and then bam, there's another issue coming, biochemical weapons. I will call them that. I dare say that. Looking sharp, guys. Please take care. Your contents are a treasure. Asante sana Itachi Uchiicha. Hey, hiyo jina ni ngumu sana, but nashukuru sana kwa maoni yako na encouragement yako. So as we continue with this conversation, we're discussing about children of a lesser God. Earlier on we started about trying to grade people according to their qualification, and now we are being segregated thanks to our color of our skin. We've been told there's this strange disease called monkeypox affecting people in America, Europe, Canada, and all of a sudden it's being called the Congo strain, and the other one is called the West African strain. So we are asking, is this a narrative to continually paint Africa as a dark nation? Let us know in the comment section with the hashtag #ThePerspectiveArtsinHeart. And you're watching this with myself, Likuyani Eli Austin, me guys, Sony Gisheru, and of course, Godwin Segero. Majama, tukikafunga hii story, tumongelea vitu mingi sana. We've seen it all. But the question that remains, how then do we stand out as Africans and of course as Kenyans, so that people do not look down upon us as children of a lesser God? Austin, tuanziwe kama content creator. What is the best way of approach when it comes to content that makes a different narrative about African people?
I believe if we want to see that nini change, we have to change ourselves, unaona? Like ukiona shida imefika huko, ni kumaanisha pia sisi wenyewe tuko na shida. Like ukiona hata the way we treat people hapa tu like in my town Nairobi. Mi nikienda kuulizia tuseme maybe naenda kubuy kitu kwa supermarket ama wapi, alafu na mzungu akuje kubuy, utaona tutatreatiwa different. Wase bado wako na ile kai mzungu, yani tuache hiyo nini. Okay, ni poa kwa welcome hivyo, but pia sisi kama wa Afrika pia tuji welcome hivyo pia. Mseki jiheshimu unaheshimiwa, unaona? Cause there's no way people will respect you if you do not respect yourself. So if we can start by changing, tujue we are not going to judge others by this, we are gonna judge them by what they do, how they do it. Yani tusikue na ati ati unakaa kwa nyumba ya how much? Nakaa kwa nyumba ya 50,000. Na wewe nakaa kwa ya 10,000. Ai wewe nikauta okay, yani hata hawatakuambia, utaona tu utafeel ile ya we hata ili ningedanganyana. But tukiacha kuona life in that level ati ni vitu materials ndio zina define the nini, we should look okay. Najua hakuna mtu anatembeanga na x-ray, but tunafaa kuangalia ndani ya roho tuone what is someone bringing, yani hizo energies. Nini hivyo, at least tutakuwa na better society, na sasa hao wasi wataanza kutuheshimu cause wataona sasa tumeanza kujiheshimu. Yeah.
Sonny, you are a content creator again. Let me just throw that in. Your content, you're always showing success is measured in this yardstick, and ukienda maju, your photos will disturb us for a whole month. You'll for every day, you know, for the 12 days you're gonna spend maju, you'll keep it a photo a month, so that we will know you are somewhere there in in the United States of America, and you're in Canada. How do we change the narrative, Sonny?
I believe we should stop thinking that the whites are of great importance. Like, they are not of a greater God. We are of the same God. Like, we were created the same way. It's just that their color is different from ours. We should just try and like embrace ourselves. Tuache kuwa na hiyo akili ya colonization. Yeah, ukiambiwa hivi, that is the way. No. We are brighter than that. We just kama hata nini in terms of Africa getting materials from maju ndo wa process vitu, like we have everything on our side. Like, we just have to embrace ourselves, embrace everything we have. Tusisikize sana watu wengine just because they are white. Okay, they colonized us. Ni tuseme tu ni lack of knowledge from guys from kitambo. Hawakuwa educated kama venye tuko educated saa hii era. So let's just, we are brighter than that. We are bigger than that. Tusiwasikize sana. That's what I believe.
We cannot live in an island. Godwin, I don't know what's your perspective on this. How do we change the narrative?
I want to agree with Austin 100%, and it's all about our mindset. You know, because there's something that we've put behind our minds that when our wazungu wakikuja, whatever they say is right. You know, whatever that was reported by CNN, the Guardian, BBC, you know, like it's almost 100% because imetoka also for them. But you see, we forget that PRC, they have interests, you know, and even for them, their presence in our jurisdiction and stuff, it's not because they want to be here. It's because there's something they're getting in return. It's not because they were born just with a good heart, because they're here to give charity, you know. Yeah. Yes, they'll come with goodies, you know, we're offering you this, we are helping you fight this. But what are they getting in return? And you see, and I want to relate this with the way we elect our leaders. We hold the power, you understand? Because when you're electing your leader, essentially you are the employer. But we forget we are the employers, and then they treat us as if they are our bosses, you know, because it's your vote that gives that person that job. And for you to put them in that position, they're your servants, you know, they're here to serve you, not the other way around. And the same happens with these European countries. Most of the time when they're coming here, most of the raw materials, you know, Africa as a whole is so rich that whatever, you know, Africa alone can feed the entire Europe, because for them, they have factories in terms of manufacturing, but where do they get raw materials? And that's why you'll find most in terms of maybe, let's say, like textile, they'll come and get raw materials from here. they'll go make them from their place, and then they'll wear, then wanatuzia mtumba. But in real sense, hizo vitu zimetoka huko. So it's until we realize what we have, that's when we'll emancipate ourselves.
Well, until we realize what we have, it's when we will emancipate ourselves. Najua kizungu inashinda mwigai you guy, lakini Sony naye anatambua. Hiyo unaitambua Austin, unaipata?
Naipata, hiyo nimeisikia kwa ngoma ya Bob Marley,
Emancipation. Oh, pirates, yes, they rob us. La 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 la.
Only ourselves. Alafu asemanga, only ourselves can free our minds, by the way. Nobody else. It's only you.
Wanjiku Kagwe says, ArtsinHeart, great content. Thank you so much. Maze, leo mmefurahi sana na hiyo topic of discussion na furahi pia sisi. Eugene, asante sana, says Princess Ola, ninaona hapa kapuoni, anasema, wazi at Princess enyewe, wewe ni princess. Good vibes only, rocking here. We have Jonathan Mwendwa says, watching you from Panama. Sijui ni Panama ya Nairobi ama kuna Panama ingine, lakini kama niyo mali ya mlipi tax ni sawa. Asante sana Eugene. Better late than never. Karibu sana. Hawa wanaanza kukaribishana hapa. I agree with you Austin, to that you said Austin. Leo umekuwa mtrue sana. Yes Austin, virus hizi yes Austin, hizi virus zimetoka lab. Hiyo umesema. So there's one thing that you've said, until we free our mind and feel we do not belong to a lesser God, because some of us believe, then that's the only time we can start and change the narrative of who we are. You know, for a long time, gentlemen, tumeuziwa vibe fulani ya kwamba you cannot be successful at the place you are at. And I have a lot of friends tell me every time, maze Eli, maze, ni organizeni kama juu. And I'm there wondering, our storylines cannot be the same. Austin, you are a creative, you write stories. Not all stories look alike. And if they do, they eventually become boring. Our stories can never be the same. Our stories can never, align. Your gift and your opportunities will find you where you decide to invest at. Sa wewe ukisema manzile siku nitatoka hii Kenya ndio nitafaulu. Hiyo ndio time unaanza kujibrainwash ukifikiria you only make it when you go to the US. I have a friend of mine has been telling me, maze Eli, maze invite me, nataka nitembe fulani. Kamunza, okay fine. And then sinione tu. You know what I told them? I have no problem. Mtaka kuinvite, yes. Prepare this amount of money. And then they're like, is it that expensive? Sinikae tu in Nairobi. Because they are thinking, if I'm going to, let's say, spend $500,000 to travel, why can't I put that money into business and make something out of it? So bottom line is, we are not children of a lesser God. We can be better. We can do greater stuff. And we can use the opportunities that already exist to grow. Kwa sababu, saizi hiyo Nairobi yetu ni mbaya. But why are we complaining? We are forgetting the same as we voted for some leaders to be in that office. Those leaders now, wameenda Mombasa. Okay, I'm not mentioning names, but you guys, if you know, you know. Saizi, they want to go and make Mombasa greater again. The same leaders, you'll be appointing them, rather electing them, come 9th August as your president, probably as your deputy president, probably your senator, your MCA, na mtapiga full suit. The bottom line of everything is it all begins and starts with us. Nobody is greater than you think you are. Manze, enough of lecture. Nimemaliza hiyo lecture yangu. Wase, fungeni show tuende na maneno zenyu za wisdom. Godwin, wacha kuangalia laptop.
So, this is my closing remarks. Mental health is very key because there's something that touched me this week of this guy in Nakuru who decided to kupanda juu that's not even a electric pole, hiyo ni ile tower, just to electrocute himself, you know. It's really sad that these things are happening in this day and age, and it's something that really needs our attention. people are suffering. There's too much to handle, but let's keep hope. That's the last thing we can ever lose.
Mimi nitasema people should not judge each other based on their careers. Let's not judge each other based on our careers. Some careers you just end up in them just because you had no option. Si ati hujasoma, si ati ni hapo tu ndo life imekufikisha. Let's not judge each other based on our careers, because you never know, path yako na path yangu, they may be different, but means zangu za kufika mahali can be different from yours, but goal ni kufika pale mbele. Goal ni kufika to success. Let's not judge each other, let's respect each other, and let's hold each other's hand. Goal ni kufika pale mbele. Despise someone despite their careers. Yes.
Mimi Kenya nitasema, let's free our minds from mental slavery, like kufikiria that someone with a different color of skin is the only one who has the key to your success, ama yeye peke yake anaweza kufanyia yani kitu yoyote, ama like hiyo story ya mimi nataka kwenda majuu. Okay, nipo wakutaka kwenda, hata mimi nataka kwenda by the way, but kindly that's haimaanishi ati ukienda huko hapo ndio life yako itanini. Inaweza fungukia pia hapa na upate hautaki kuenda huko tena, cause life majuu pia ni expensive, yani crazy sana. So ujue pia ukitaka kwenda huko ujue unataka kuface vitu kama racism huko ni extreme. Sisemi ati iko hivyo, but free yourself from mental slavery. Usijicompare. Comparison is a thief of joy. Do not compare yourself to people, to what you think is success, to wewe fanya kitu yako, mambo itakuwa sawa, mambo itakuwa fresh barida, bila ngwere, bila bugdha, na itakuwa ni shwari. Yeah.
We, wamesema useme toka, lakini wacha nikupe messages kabla tutoke. Jay, unataka aanze kulia. That is Princess Ola. Noreen says, I loved every bit of today's show. Kazi safi sana waku. Fire them fire. Jay amekuambia useme hivi. Osto, sema toka tufunge show bro. Unatuweka. Osto, all the honors.
Mazee, usijikompea. Kama unataka kujikompea, toka nje. Toka!
Good night guys. Tuonane tena. Ninawachia moja barida hapa na Guardian. Good night.